2020. Just about a minute gone past 11. I'm Janelle, and this is where we put a wrap on our motivational section for the morning. And get over to our guests. And joining me this morning, we have Mr. Charles Archer. He is the country representative at Rubis. And Mr. Lennox Williams. He is a scheduler, a dispatcher. But this week, he is the Safety Week ambassador. So you probably guessed it. We're talking about Safety Week. Mr. Archer, Mr. Williams, good morning and welcome to the Mid-Morning Buzz.
Good morning, Donna.
Yes, good morning. It's indeed a pleasure to have you again this morning. It's our
good morning to you, and good morning to the listening and viewing public.
Indeed. It's our second year for Safety Week. It's an initiative I see you started, was it last year?
Last year.
Before we jump into plans for this year, if Mr. Archer could just give us a brief review of how last year went for the very first time, a company as Rubis taking on a Safety Week initiative.
Went very well. And we must say that although we actually took it to the public last year, safety is something that we do all the time at our company. We just thought that we didn't want people to think that we were selfish and keeping it to ourselves. So last year, we opened up our activities to the general public. Just to recap that we had the media in, we had retailers in, we had other customers come in to pay a visit to the terminal and see our operations and basically understand what we do day to day. Mm-hmm. Everything went well, and we thought that it was very
Okay, your audio is kind of going and coming. I don't know if it's a little bit of internet issues on your side, but I always say opening up your doors to the public. It is just a sign that you're very confident in what you're doing, and it assures us that you're in good hands. So kudos to you. So tell us about Safety Week 2020. We know it's a different environment. We know COVID has changed the operations of most businesses. Has it affected Safety Week?
I would leave the response of that to Mr. Williams, the ambassador.
Okay. Mr. Williams, the ball is in your court.
Good morning again. Good morning to the listening and viewing public. All right, this year, what we're going to do is do safety and try to do it at a safe distance.
Okay.
Meaning that we may not have much contact with the public, but we're going to try to do it through this medium, through social media, and so forth. We're going to try our best to get a message across just as clear as we did last year, just taking a different approach this year.
Okay. So what are some of the activities marking Safety Week this year?
All right, this year, we actually started off today with the media. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a call-in similar to what we're doing here with all the islands are going to be calling. They have one station doctor that is going to call in and talk to all the islands in terms of safety and COVID. Mm-hmm. Then we have a day for the public where we're going to be asking a question or two every day in connection with safety. So we're giving them a chance to let us know where they're at with safety. And then further down the line, we'll know where we short or where we need to improve on our safety side of it in terms of educating the public.
Okay. Wonderful.
So we have quite a bit of points that we're going to touch on today with regards to safety, from both reaching our shows to delivering the product to the customer.
Okay.
And storing it.
Wonderful. Well, we're looking forward, so let's get right into it.
Okay. So I'm going to start off. Let's say my name is Lennox Williams, scheduler dispatcher, and I'm the safety ambassador for Grenada. And as I said, we just want to touch a few topics and a few points to get across the safety message to the public. And we're going to start off, as I say, with the vessel arrival at the terminal. And normally, there are some boating activities that normally take part on the sea, maybe for people who just doing it for leisure or work purpose. You recognize that in the past, you will recognize that there are boats that just come in very close to the tanker that they delivering the product. Mm-hmm. And maybe that they don't know, so we're trying to educate them. is that normally once you see a vessel anchored outside there, first thing that there is a delivery going ahead. Once you start thinking that, you start thinking safety. The next thing that you can look at is that there should be a red flag on the vessel telling you that it's in the discharge mode. Right. If you don't pay attention to that, we also have marks on the line that is running from the ship to the shore for the discharge.
Okay,
There's
and
also go ahead.
Before you go on, just for clarity, so your vessels, they wouldn't come into the St. George's port as we would see other vessels. They would stay out more to the Grand Mall area.
Right, because that's our discharge
That's
point.
your discharge point.
If they're out at the port or out in the water, it's because they're waiting to come in to start the discharge. But
okay.
The discharge is basically at the Grand Mall area.
Okay.
Similar that you will see maybe down by the stadium side, they have it there. That's for the Petro Caribbean side.
Ah, got you.
So I am going to talk, when I'm talking safety, is not just about for the Rubis, but in general, because one accident down there could affect our side negatively.
Right. Okay, so go ahead.
Right, so as I said, again, there also what we have as an air horn. Some people might just think of it as just a noise and not understanding. So I always say for the people that's doing the boating, you need to have an idea as to the activity that's happening around you. A lot of people just take it for leisure. They just decide to just go on a boat ride and they see boats and just decide to pass in front or behind boat and not knowing what's going ahead. Once you see a way to pass, you decide you're passing, but not really focusing on where you're going to.
Okay.
Right, and normally I would ask people, the people that's doing the boat, is that they will approach the vessel from the bow side so you get a clear vision if there are any holes extending in the water. So at least you can get a good visual. When you're coming from a long side, it tends to either lose focus because you're trying to maneuver your boat through. From the time you see that boat in, slow down, look. So that's what we're asking the boating public to do.
Okay, so just to go over again, we're listening out for the air horn. We're looking for the red flag.
That's warning signs.
Right.
The first thing is that you could also look at the vessel, and once they see that red flag is up, it means
the red flag.
that the boat is actually discharging, or we're about to discharge fuel.
Okay.
Right. If it's in the nighttime, there's a red light. So for the day, it'll be the flag. For the night, it'll be a red light.
Okay.
That's just a little bit of education for the.
No, it's appreciative. And the hoses is going to be above water where we can see it. Normally, is it?
Just give me 1 second. I'm getting some background noise. You can repeat again?
No, I was saying the hose. You said we should look. So we're looking for the flag. We're listening for the horn. And you mentioned the hose. The hose is going to be above water where it should be visible.
Water, but there are also some markers on the hose.
Okay.
And at the nighttime, we also have a beacon, a light that is intrinsically safe, but it's along the hose also that will give you a sign that there is something run along.
Right. So
we also have what we call as like a boat that we hire a boat to do the guarding of the hose. But again, sometimes you try to warn boatmen and it's like they're not paying attention to where they're going, I should say. They're just going but really not paying attention, or their minds are not focused on safety, or they're thinking of getting them point A to point B but not being safe.
Okay.
So we also hire a boat to do the maneuvering of it.
Have you ever had an instance where a boat got into your lines?
Not that I can recall, but there have been times when we had to give them the signal of the horn because they're coming in at a very high speed.
Okay, so generally your safety protocols are working.
It's in place, but we just want to re-emphasize because for you to be coming in at a speed, it means that you're not aware of what is going ahead.
You're not paying attention. Okay, so we've gotten from the ship to your terminal. From there.
Right. From there, we have a few problems that we normally encounter at the station. And that is something that we really like to address. Filling of containers, filling of vehicles, cell phone use. Yes, you give me a nod.
No, I'm smiling because yes, And I'm happy you're here because we always hear it, and I've heard people say it's a myth. But then we saw that explosion in off Carriacou, the islands there. You know where I'm talking about. And I heard it was related to Beckway. It was related to cell phone use.
Right. I did not get the final cause of it. I understand it was something to do with some naked light, or the type of light they would have used. But as I say, people thinking it's a myth with the cell phone. But I have read something about that. Was it Nokia and one of the other phone companies said there is a small chance. But even that small chance, there is still a chance. And that is what we want, that we ask that you turn off your cell phone. And not only for that reason, but you have times where you have vehicles either pulling off with the hose at the service stations. And the reason, when you do check it back, is because that person was not paying attention to what's going ahead.
Okay.
Because you have your rearview mirror, you must have seen when the attendant remove or when you put it in, so that before you move off, these are the final checks that you do. You check to make sure that your tank is properly closed. Some drivers drive off because the tank is not closed. You drive off with the hose because they're not paying attention. I guess it's just to get to the next point. It just takes you about, 3-4 minutes at the pump to fill up. Or be asking for your full cooperation attention at that time. Because during that time, something could go wrong, but you will have to respond. We wanted to respond in the correct way.
And those are key reminders, Mr. Williams, because we see it every day. They're distracted. Even the cell phone that they're not supposed to be using serves as a great distraction when they're at the pumps. So we shouldn't be on them at all. Yeah. Right.
Okay. We're also looking at the type of containers that you come with at the gas station to fill. And we asking customers to please, and we also asking the retailers to refrain from filling them. So an extra dollar in your pocket could cost you a life somewhere along the line, and that's what we're trying not to happen. Right? They are approved containers for handling fuel or for doing fuel. We're asking that they might be provided at the station. If not, there are other stores around that normally sell those. So we ask you to do, and they're also marking. So I would ask the consumers of those products is that it's better that you have a container. If you know that you're going to be storing all 3 products, it's better that you have a container for all 3 products at your home. And you will ask why. All right, you have a container at your home that you're doing, I would say kerosene, and you decide, okay, your kerosene maybe is to put in your lamp, or maybe to light a little bush on the side, or maybe to light your coals. And for some reason, you decide, okay, I want to go and get some gas. So my bottle now finished with kerosene, but I need to go get some gas. So you take your bottle, you go get gas. Now, mom or dad knows that you had kerosene in that bottle. They decide they're going to take some and go and light a fire. You know what's happening there.
Yeah, that's the potential for a lot of destruction.
That's what we ask is that when you put in the product and the containers, at least you label it so that at least it's clearly marked so that anyone going to pick it up to use, they know what's in it.
Okay. There was another myth, I don't know if you had it done to talk about, but I want to ask you, of people, especially I've seen a lot of busmen doing it, they're filling up and then they're shaking the vehicle. Is that beneficial at all?
I would say no. And for them, they might say yes because they're going to say that they get more mileage. But look at this. It would take you how long? If there is a thing that we ask that when the pump do the click, you stop. But it would take you about maybe 10 or more minutes to put maybe just 1 gallon of gas into your tank. What you do is that you have a whole line of traffic at the back. By doing that now, you're actually removing the nozzle from the depth that it should go into your tank. So you have, if you go to some of the stations, you're seeing a lot of what they call spills. The ground looking filthy because of diesel or some residue that fall on the ground. Because they're trying to fill the tank right up to the rim.
Right.
Right? So you have spillage, then you're not leaving any room for what they call expansion. Because remember, once this get heat, it's going to expand.
Right.
So what to do is that it weaken the integrity also of your thing. Again, for the mechanics if we look for the manufacturer's recommendation, they might be say do not fill your tank beyond the 90 or 95%.
Okay.
So just for that extra gallon of gas that you're going to spend, how much time at the station, you're going to have fuel either running down the side of your vehicle, dirty in the floor, have a whole line of traffic behind you. For what? What is that? And I'm saying for the buses, they normally have what they call quiet time period during the course of the day. So for that, let me say $20 or so that you would have put extra, that you would have taken to ram your gas up to the rim. During your quiet time, you could just pop in the station and get that maybe at $20 or $30 gas to take you along.
Mm-hmm. I always wondered, because I'm thinking it's gas, it's liquid. Once you put it in, it's either filled or it's not. It's not like pebbles that would rearrange itself in your tank. I always wondered why the shaking.
Sometimes it's how some of the stations are laid out. You might get them shaking to see if it could hold more, because it depends on how you put a bottle. It might hold, let me say, more than the other because of the angle it's at. So that's what they try to do, eliminate all that vacuum space that they have.
Donald, if I may come in here, just to indicate on the same topic. Okay, persons may not recognize danger that friction itself causes doing an activity like that. Now you have a situation where the nozzle on the hose is metal and your fuel tank itself is metal. Now, when you rub metal to metal, you are actually, first of all, developing heat. The vapors from the fuel themselves can be ignited by that heat that you are creating. So it is very important that persons understand that if they're going to go ahead and shake the buses, we have asked our attendants not to get into that practice. If the owners of the vehicles want to do so for themselves, they are free to do so, but they need to understand the dangers that are involved.
Okay.
Because when you discharge your gasoline, you get a smell. That smell is actually the vapor that comes off the vapor. And that is the dangerous part of the fuel product. It's not the fuel itself, the wet part, that is dangerous. The vapor that comes off of the fuel. Similarly, when tank overflows onto the forecourt, there's further danger in you have the situation where you now have the fuel on the forecourt and it is emitted with obvious fuel that spills. There is more vapors emitted. Now start your engine. Your engine has heat in it. Depending on how long you were at the station, vehicle probably did not down enough. There's the potential again that the vapors coming up under the vehicle, up to the side of the vehicle where the fuel spill ignited as well. Really a practice that we don't encourage. It can lead to volatile situations.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much, Mr. Archer. Any more points you want to leave with us, Mr. Williams, before we wrap?
Yeah, also we're looking at, as I say, we're talking about storing the product at your home. Mm-hmm. I did mention that before, the type of container, but also when I talk about the type of containers that you use to come to at the station, you might take a container that has some other product in it, and you don't know how that product is going to react with the gas. Mm-hmm. So it might just break down the properties of the gas. Then you come and you say that we sell you old fuel, right? And it's not because of that. It could just be because of the properties that it just did not blend with the gas.
Right.
You also ask that when you're storing them at home, make sure that they're stored in a proper
ventilated area. Some of the bottles that you might come with may not, once it gets heat or so, it may not be able to keep that pressure because the coverage is not properly sealed.
I think there's a practice you see it in most. Everybody wants to have the neat, outfitted kitchen, so the bottle most times it's probably in a cupboard. You don't see it at all. Is that safe?
Right. And they're actually not to store it. If there, most of the houses nowadays they're designed that you have your 20 pound inside your house, but they're actually not to store additional.
Okay. So having it in the cupboard is fine, but additional storage.
It should be in a proper ventilated area. So I reckon, and that's what sometime back I was saying, most of the houses, if not all these days, are not properly designed because they have it that you hide away everything inside the cupboard. And saying that it should be in a proper ventilated area. To vent properly from any heat source.
Okay.
And the good thing is, I think also for storing the thing in the correct container, some people get maybe a Clorox bottle, a water bottle to put a little bit of gas, and they're not labeled. You have children around the house, and this time around where you have COVID going ahead, they're most of the time at home. They're going to maybe experiment. They're going to go and see something, either they're going to smell it or taste it.
So true. So true. So you should probably put it.
Some of the things that we're asking the public to be aware of. Also, when you have the trucks at the service station and the cone out, some drivers just ignore the cones and decide either they're going to run over it. The cones are set there for a reason. And to ask you to keep a safe distance.
Okay. So outside of the media engagements, any plans to do any direct outreach with any of your customers or potential customers during this safety week?
Or as I say, safety week, although it's a week of activity, what we're going to do is we may not be able to get much during the week because of the COVID, but we decided as the place open up a bit, we're going to go out, try to reach out to customers because it may not be everyone that is tuned in right now or listening right now, but we want to be able to reach to that section of the public also. So going forward, we're going to be looking at avenues that we're going to, every now and again, we're going to put out some bulletin or some safety tips.
Right.
Maybe do some site specifics once we are permitted to do so. So it's not going to just be just for the week. As Mr. Archer alluded earlier, it's an all year round. It's just that this is the time of the year that we really...
You just highlight certain things for us. And we appreciate, we need little reminders ever so often. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Mr. Archer, before we wrap, just briefly tell us, how has COVID treated Rubis?
Well, the type of business that we're in, we were earlier impacted from the sense that we were as much closed as many other businesses, and persons were moving around. So it was important that from the time that the authorities authorized us to start selling our product again and making it public, we're ready to do so. I just want to confirm to our customers that at the time where we ever impacted to the sense that we didn't have product here, I know leading up to the shutdown early, there were a lot of persons that were going to stations getting the cooking gas, and a lot of persons were actually overstocking, if you want to say that. Person would come with their bottles and purchase whether or not they really wanted. And there were rumors out there that shortages on an island. We want to assure customers that wasn't so then, and it is not so now. We always get good inventory to make our product available, ready for customers, so that we can do that too, and ready to move around. Other than that, we had followed all protocols, and when our workers work during COVID, we still had to take as out there. That's one thing that was all in full demand at that time. We ensured that they followed all the protocols and did whatever was necessary so that even at the service station, that the attendance actually it doesn't was
Okay. You're breaking up. I think it's the internet on your end because I'm hearing Mr. Williams nice and clear, but I think your internet connection is a bit weak. Final question. Are all your service stations back to regular operating hours?
Yes, they are. You know, and for that we're thankful. I don't think that anybody wants us to, let's say, in the island, to go back through the negativity that we experienced when things were first shut down. So that we ask all our customers to follow whatever protocols are required. Remember, the authorities did say that if we don't follow the protocol, they can make decisions that could affect us. Mm-hmm. That not only Rubis, but Grenada in general. So we want to ensure that persons wear their masks when they come to the station, don't engage in activities that are questionable and can lead to negativity down the road. But for now, all our stations are back on.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Asha and Mr. Williams, for sharing. I hope we hear from you again before the week ends. The week ends on Friday, God's willing. That's the Rubis Safety Week. So have a happy week and keep spreading the safety messages across the trial and stay. Thank you so much for joining us.
We have quite a few more tips to give to the public.
Right.
The shelf life and stuff of the product and all this thing like that. So going forward, we're going to be sharing those information to them. We know our time here is limited, but we still have more than you can share.
Well, we'll see how we can accommodate again before the week is out. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Folks, it is 27 minutes gone past the 11 o'clock hour. We take a quick break. We'll be back with more for you on the Mid-Morning Buzz. Stay with us.
Reading is too hard. Reading school books is lame. I'd rather read about children like me and cool things. I can read, but sometimes I don't even know why I have to. It makes no sense.
Why can't we read about things we like?
Reading is the key to unlocking all learning and ensuring that children reach their potential. Here's what the children have to say.
Make reading fun. Teach me how to read, but let me practice reading with things I like to read.
Talk with me and read with me at least for a short time every day.
Let me tell you my own stories.
Read, learn, grow. The children are the future. Help them read, learn, grow. So parents, you play your part.
This message is brought to you by the OECS USAID Early Learners Program, funded by United States Agency for International Development.
Coughs and sneezes spread diseases. So cover coughs and sneezes, please. Not with a rag or bandana. They trap germs. When you use the rag again, you put germs on your hands and everything else you touch. When you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth and nose with tissue. Throw the tissue in a bin and wash your hands afterwards. If you don't have a tissue, cough into your sleeve or elbow. Alcohol-based hand sanitizers are also effective in cleaning hands.
This is a plastic bag. From February 1st, these bags are not to be used when shopping for food. So here's what you should do. Refuse plastic. Instead, bring your own reusable shopping bags and say goodbye to plastic. Choose to refuse plastic. Walk with your reusable shopping bags and help protect pure Grenada from plastic pollution. A message from the Ministry of Climate Resilience.
EC Polymer Notes, our new money.
Here's how you can detect genuine EC polymer notes. Feel. Polymer notes feel smoother than the material from which paper notes are made. Also, the front of each note has raised bumps at the top left-hand corner. These bumps form shapes that are familiar to you. Look for the clear window at the front and back of each note. This window allows you to see through the notes. If you hold the notes up to the light, you'll see the value of the note in an area of plain colored print. Tilt. A holographic foil is on the $100, $50, and $20. The images move and their colors change when you tilt the notes. Remember, detecting genuine EC polymer notes is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Feel, look, and tilt.
EC Polymer Notes, cleaner, safer, stronger.
Breaking barriers. Going beyond the ordinary. Examining the stories beyond what meets the eyes. GBN gets to the meat of the matter. Join us on GBN Television, Classic Radio, gbn.gd, or on Facebook via your smartphones and other devices. We take you beyond the headlines every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. We are GBN, rated number 1.
Coming up on the next Beyond the Headlines, a panel of experts will look at the top stories sparking debate nationwide, including the decriminalization of marijuana in Grenada, the current unemployment rate, development projects around the country, and the controversy surrounding these up-and-coming prime properties, COVID-19 regulations, blended learning for students, and of course, the recent cabinet reshuffle. Join host Odette Campbell on Monday. Guests include Government Minister Peter David, Business Representative Senator Christy Alley, from the National Democratic Congress, Joseph Andel, Member of Civil Society, Cassandra Mitchell, analyst and debate on the issues that affect us all on the next Beyond the Headlines, Monday on GBN with Odette Campbell.
Having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have. I get excited when I see locals creating apps because I'm thinking they're going to be specific and they're going to be just for us and not something we import that we have to try to work with and try to customize. So tell us a bit more, firstly, about Kevin St. Bernard and Greens Cove.
Okay, so basically, well, we are a local company and we saw the need for bringing providers of services together with the public, right? So we created the platform basically to get people who are looking for services, instead of having to go through a phone book or asking a friend or, you know, asking a family member if they know somebody who could do this service and if they're any good or anything like that. You can just go onto the SerVace user app. So we have two apps, SerVace User and SerVace Provider. You just go onto the SerVace User app and you would get a list of providers. Well, you'll be able to see a list of the providers closest to you, and you can also see them on the map, all right? So from there, you can basically book a service right instantly, as we say now, right? Or you could schedule a booking for later. So it's similar to the Uber app, if you know about that app, the Uber taxi app, and Airbnb and these kinds of apps. It's an on-demand service app. However, our app also allows for for you to go to the provider's office. So, for instance, if it's a, let's say, for instance, if it's a doctor that's not doing home calls, you could choose to go directly to their office. So we have both options. You could, the provider can come to you, or you can go to the provider.
Okay. And you have to bear with me because years ago, I remember speaking to someone about the need for an app like this in Grenada, because sometimes you want to know, as you say, I want to know who is good. Do you have something that could rate the providers on the app as well? Because, I mean, we hear about people, we want to know who is good. I want to know somebody who's been, what their experience was like.
All right, so that's some of the problems we're looking to solve.
Right.
So we have them on the app for you. You don't have to go and search for them. They're there. You can see their reviews from former clients. Right. So both the provider and both the user and the provider can rate. So, like for instance, if I'm a provider and you're a user and you use my service, you can rate me as a provider, and I can also rate you as a user.
Okay. Right? I mean,
so
that
both parties would know if you're a good customer or you're a good provider.
Right. And that is just going to, I think that is just going to encourage service providers to step up. And we keep talking about, customer service in Grenada is not good, and we want to improve it right there. If you don't step up, you just might get a bad rating. So you always have to provide the best service. So you're challenging your customers as well to stay on the A game.
Right.
I like it. I'm excited about it. So just give us a brief overview as to some of the service providers that we can find on the app.
Well, we've recently started, so we don't have as much as we would like at the moment, but we do have providers from the areas of cleaning, electrician, accounting services, medical services. We have from food delivery. We have power washing as well, pressure washing. We have quite a wide variety of categories. So we're asking providers to download they can either register directly from the website, or they can download the provider app to come on board. It's free to download. Both apps are free to download, and both app and the provider app is free for providers to list.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So the way we get paid from the app is that we are on the user app. We offer ads at the top of the provider app for providers and businesses. Of course, if you're a provider on the app, you would get discounted price, or for the beginning, since we're just launching and so on, all providers get free ad until the end of the year, all right?
Nice.
So we get paid from the ads at the top of the user app, and from our commission is taken from when you get a booking through the service.
Right.
A commission is taken from the payments, because the app allows, platform, I should say, allows payment via the app, so that you can pay with a number of methods, debit card, credit card. The app has an e-wallet, so you can actually top up your e-wallet, and also cash. With the cash option, though, the providers will have to decide whether or not they want to accept cash, and cash meaning not just like physical cash, but checks as well.
Okay.
We want to decide if they want to take cash as an option, and to do that, they would need to top up their balance with a minimum of $50 for the provider. The reason for that is because when they top up the $50, it goes onto their, it is not a charge for us. It goes onto their wallet, and we don't take the app doesn't take anything from that until they get a booking. So when they get a booking and the client pays, the commission will come out from that $50 on their wallet.
Ah, okay.
So that we don't have to go physically to each provider to collect commissions if they use the cash option.
Right. Okay. So we're excited, and I think some people are saying, okay, so just tell me how it's working. I want to get on. So take us to the initial phase for us as consumers. How do we get on the app? How can we access it?
Okay, so you can go directly to our website. It's servace.app, SerVace.app. At the bottom of our homepage, there's links to the Google App Store and to the Apple App Store.
Okay.
Right, so the both apps are available for Android and iOS. You can also go directly to the app stores from your to the Google Play Store or to the Apple Store directly,
and then we hit download.
And yeah, so you just install, and yeah, it will go on, and then so individual providers can sign up directly from the app, right? So like in the sole proprietor or somebody just doing a job part-time and they want to make a little extra money, they could just download the provider app and sign up. We also have a option for companies or businesses that might have more than one provider, so they could sign up as a company. Whether you're a business or company, you could just sign up as a company, and if you have, like, let's say for instance, let's see an example of, let's say, a taxi company or something that has, or a vehicle rental company that has more than one provider, more than one person working with them providing the service. They can assign each provider with they can each download the app on their phone, and all the providers would be listed on the one company.
Okay.
So they can assign all their different providers under their company, and of course, all payments would go to the company account instead of the individual.
At the start you mentioned Uber, and I heard some taxi operators talking just yesterday about how difficult it is now with COVID. So, they don't have that foreign market that they're accustomed to. So it just may be something they could look into, as you say, to start up something like an Uber in Grenada. Options.
Yeah, well, basically the app provides for Uber service. So,
right.
We have taxi on it, and we also have delivery service also.
Right.
If like a company might have a delivery service and they need a platform to boost their business, they could assign their providers to their company and use the service. With the taxi app and with the taxi, we have an algorithm inside which allows to calculate. It allows you to calculate the app to calculate the cost. So it does it by GPS and by time. So basically, you could operate a metered taxi service through the app.
Nice.
All right.
I'm super excited. Would you recommend this app for farmers as well?
Of course, yes. It's very useful for foreigners when they come, especially, for instance, if they want to rent a vehicle or they need to get a taxi to go around. Once the providers are on board, and even to get tours, because we have an option where tour guides can sign up. Both the walk-in tours and the other different tours. We have different variety of tours available. And what we're willing to work with providers as well, because we can add in more services as necessary. We can add in more categories as necessary. What we have up on the app is basically a trial, default setting that we thought might be viable for now. But if there's a provider that needs to add, different services, we're willing to work with them.
I'm smiling because you heard foreigners and that is good, but I was actually asking about farmers.
Oh, farmers.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, so
no, but that is good too.
For the delivery services, so we have delivery on the app. So there are different categories under the delivery. So you can deliver fresh foods and vegetables. You can deliver cooked food. You can deliver, provisions, and so we have all that under the delivery part of the app. So basically, you could under the delivery, with the delivery service, that also has a algorithm for determining the cost, right? So the cost of the delivery itself. But when it comes to the cost of the food, the order, whatever the person ordered, they could add it in on the invoice that is generated in the app. So you would have, let's say you order a delivery service, you get the initial cost. You will get the initial cost of the delivery service based on the distance and time that the person would take to get there. And at the end of the job, the provider would be able to put in their costs for their goods. In the middle, there's a material cost on the invoice and a miscellaneous cost on the invoice to get the total. And once they submit that invoice to the customer, it goes directly to the user app, and they would see the total and all stuff, and make the accept the invoice and make payment.
Okay. How big would you say your operation is right now?
We're very small. We've just started. Only a few people, including the developing team.
Okay, and that developing team is a Grenadian team?
Unfortunately, no, it's not.
Okay.
This app is quite extensive app, and we weren't able to find local people who could do it.
Okay, I got you. And it's an opportunity. Again, I always say when we see these niche markets popping up, opportunities for Grenadians, when they, looking to go and study, everybody just don't go en masse into business. Look for these creative areas where you see the need, and we're evolved, and we're an evolving society. So you had to import, but hopefully next time for maintenance, we should be able to source somebody locally.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking to get local people to help with maintenance and other things. I mean, once we get going on a reasonable scale,
Wonderful. So we're about to wrap. Anything else we need to know about the SerVace app, which I'm going to go and check out right after we wrap here. Before we wrap.
I was wondering if I could give you a small demonstration with my phone.
Okay. We have just about. We could probably do about 3 to 5 minutes, if we could pull it up quickly.
Let's see. In the meantime, let me just show you. You have to enable my sharing screen. Are you able to give me sharing screen privileges?
Let me see. Ooh.
If you go to the share screen and use multi-screen.
Hold on, let me see.
Allow multi.
I don't think I'm seeing that option here. Let me see.
It should be on the share screen button.
Hold on. Oh yes. Hold on. Okay.
So give the one with, we'll give it the multi option, yeah, you know.
No, I'm seeing options to share my screen, not your screen.
Oh, you don't have the option to give multi-share?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay.
We can't share. No, we can't share. We can't share. We cannot share from here.
Okay.
We cannot share from here, unfortunately. So maybe we may have to set it up another time where you can do some demonstrations for us, but we cannot share from here. I can only share my screen with you, but I can't do the multi-share.
Okay.
So next time we'd have to take that on. But I think we have enough today to make us start. We're going to check out the app and see what's going on. Tell us again how we can access it. We can get it from Google Play List?
Google Play or the App Store.
Or the App
you
Store.
Can go directly to our website, servace.app,
VACE. Okay. We will be sure to check it out. Can we review you on the app as well?
Of course, as a well, you can sign up as a user, but you would not be able to review SerVace itself. You'll be able to review the providers.
The providers.
Because it's a platform. We don't actually have services as the company. The company does not actually have services on the app. It's basically for providers
and users.
So we just bring them together on the platform.
Okay, but thank you so much for sharing today. We appreciate it. We will definitely hook up again, because I'm thinking this app is going to be beneficial for so many Grenadians, so many businesses. And
the hope is to encourage in entrepreneurship, encourage young people to start a business, start a service business. Also to help the companies to better their customer service.
Yes.
And customer communication as well, because within the app, you can also do messaging chats, and you can call within the app. So it's very very good for communication with clients.
Okay. Well, thank you so much again for sharing with us. But we have to leave it here. But we will get back to you shortly. Thanks again. Folks, we have to leave it here. A pleasure. We have to leave it here for today. It is 7 minutes on to 12. Don't forget, at 12, we have the midday edition of news coming your way with Beverly Telesford. I'm Janelle. It has been always a pleasure to be with you. We learn so much on the Mid-Morning Buzz. Until tomorrow, God's willing, have a fantastic Monday. It is Motivational Monday. Keep it positive, keep it uplifting, and do have a productive week. Bye-bye for now.